Hey everyone, what's up? Hope you're all doing well. I am just home for a few days here and then I'm gone for another few days to go visit some family. And so I won't be back to my normal schedule of making videos and streaming on Friday nights until probably the first week of August. But I've had a bunch of questions recently about this specifically, so I figured I'd make a quick video showing you how it works and basically what you're looking for. So let's chat. What has been asked of me quite a bit recently, and I don't think I've really gone into it in detail in videos before, and that is what I actually mean by converting gems to gold or gold to gems. So we're not going to do gold to gems today because that is probably going to be in a more in-depth market guide in the future, which I can definitely do, but that takes a whole lot more time and is a lot more in-depth. So many different ways to do it, and it's really complicated. You kind of got to know what you're looking for and timings, and it changes constantly what the best ways to do it are, but transferring gems to gold is a lot easier. It's super simple. You can just kind of see it in front of you. So we're going to get into it today and talk about what I mean when I say transfer gems to gold. Okay. So previously I had said, hey, look, tier 6 is super important. It's really expensive in the market. If you're able to craft flawless, you can, put that into gems, get, 10 gems for a flawless or whatever it is now. And let's say you get 8 gems. After that, you can transfer those gems at 500k a gem, and you just made 4 mil, right? And you're thinking, okay, that sounds great, but how do I actually do that? How does that function? How does that actually work in the game? How do I transfer gems over? So we're going to go through 6 tiers today, and I'm going to show you some really effective ways that you can transfer those gems, what that actually looks like. So let me just preface this by saying a couple of things. So we're going to start at tier 6. Tier 6 is unlocked in the market at level 35. So if you go to the market, okay, so I have all 11 tiers available to me. So this 6th tier will not be unlocked until you hit level 35 in the game, and these go down by 5s, okay? So level 2 is level 5, level 10, etc. So tier 11 is not unlocked until you hit level 60 in the game. So hitting level 35 should take you less than a week in this game, so I'm not going to go to the tiers below that. And I mean, in all honesty, you shouldn't be transferring gems a whole lot to gold anyways at any point in the game, simply because gold is a whole lot easier to come by than gems is, and you need the gems to get your shop expansions, your crafting slots, your market slots, your hero slots, all of the things that are really important to actually get your shop ahead. Those are probably going to be more important than the actual gold, but this is still something that can be useful a lot of the time and something we need to talk about, okay? The next thing is I'm not going to be talking about surcharging, because if we go, let's say, to tier 11s, okay, so we're just going to search in market and we're going to go to tier 11s. I mean, I could go here and say, man, I can surcharge this right now in my shop for, 6.8 million plus all my percentages and stuff. So 10 gems to 6.8 million, 700k. That's great, and I understand that, but the average player who's just looking to learn how to transfer their gems to gold is not going to be looking at a tier 11 opulent pistol to surcharge in their shop for 3,500 energy, okay? Or 2,500 energy, sorry. So I'm not talking surcharging. I'm talking either normal selling or just selling in shop. So just want to clear those couple things up. So let's get into it. So basically what I'm talking about is this. If we go to tier 6, even normal items, let's look at the highest gold value. So these will be selling around 200k really consistently. So if I bought one of these for 2 gems and then I listed in market for 200k and it sells, basically I just spent 2 gems to get 200k. So I'm transferring those gems into an item and then selling that item in the market for 200k. And so essentially that gem is now being transferred to gold at 100k per gem. So that's what we're talking about. So this is kind of a baseline, but let me see what other things that I can find, and then I'll show you what this is actually going to look like, okay? Okay, so here's another example. Quite often people are going to be buying superior tier 6 items to then combine 5 of them into a flawless, into a blue. Because when you get a flawless, then you can turn that into sigils, which are right now worth 5 gems each. Okay, so these are really valuable. These are going to sell at max gold, which is 10 times gold, 385,000 very often. If you can buy this for 2 gems, then sell for 385, you might get 350 after tax or something like that. You're looking at 175k per gem. Okay, so that's a lot better than 100k. Let's see what else we can find. So here's another example. Selling at 450k at the moment, going to be a little bit under 400k with taxes at 2 gems a piece. So similar, you're looking at 200k per gem with a tier 6. So here's another quick example. You can buy this for 8 gems and sell it for 1.1 million. It's not great. It's over 100k per gem, but it's not fantastic, but just showing you another option. This could be a decent option. You can always buy these for 2 gems. They're always going to sell for about 200k. So you're going to be able to get 100k per gem. And this is tier 4. So you could do this at a really low level. So if you're a super low level, you want to, buy a bunch of gems with real money and transfer those into gold at 100k each, so you've got a big surplus of gold. I guess that's an option. Probably not a great one because you're going to progress through the levels and get a ton of gold anyways if you do things correctly, but anyway, that's an option for you. All right, so let's move on to tier 7. So with tier 6, we kind of maxed out around 200k per gem. I think you could do that very consistently. Find greens for 2 gems, green tier 6s, and sell them for max gold. Here's another option. Golden chests are going to sell for 2.5 million. Going to sell for 9 gems a piece. After tax, you're still going to get your 2 million gold, and so you could buy this for 9 gems, get 2 million gold out of it, and you're getting over 200k per gem. So let's go tier 7s and see what we can find now. Okay, so here's an interesting one. A lot of the tier 7 enchantments are going to be selling for 400 to 900k, it looks like. Some of these look like they go on for 2 gems. That probably won't last super long. A lot of these are for 3 gems, so this one would be 250k after tax per gem, maybe even a little bit more than that. This one would be 230k minus taxes, so about 200k. So these are some interesting options because you don't really know how much that they're going to sell for, but you should be able to get around 200k, if not a little bit more from these if you play it smart. But that's the interesting thing. You see this one's 900k, the rest are all 600 or below. So there's no guarantee that this is going to sell for close to 900k, but it may be worth a try. All right, so here I'm looking at flawless tier 7s, and this is 1.5 million max, which would sell instantly for 7 gems, so that you're looking at about 200k per gem there as well. But some of these tier 7s are going to be higher price, and if you can find them consistently for that low of gold, 1.45 million, then there's definitely potential for that to work, although the majority of these look like they're sitting at around 9 gems, so that's probably going to give you a lot worse of a ratio, although this is 2.1 million for 8 gems, so that's like 250k minus taxes. So 200k is pretty easy to get at tier 7 as well. There's lots of different options and things that you can do. Wow, this could even work as well. Some of the tier 7 epic items, 9 gems, 2.7 million, so that's 300k per gem. That's also 300k per gem. So if you could find any flawless, look at that, 3.25 million for 9 gems. So now this is what we're talking about. We're well over 300k per gem now, which is really nice. So even in tier 7s, it looks like this may be our best option. I'm sure you might be able to find something a little bit better than that, but definitely very interesting. 3.9 million for 9 gems. That is easily 350k per gem. So now we're really talking 5 levels difference from tier 6 to tier 7, but now we're almost getting double the ratio that we were previously. So very interesting. Let's move on to tier 8. Wow. Okay, so first thing I see in tier 8 here is 6.75 million for 14 gems. So you're probably looking around the 400k per gem mark after taxes. So now things are really picking up, getting close to that half mil mark. Let's see what we can find in tier 8. 4.65 million for 8 gems. So that's getting pretty close to the $500,000 mark. After taxes, it might be slightly less, but these are looking pretty good. Lots of these you're going to be able to find for 8, 9 gems, and that will sell instantly for 4.75 million gold. Trust me, I buy these all the time, and if I can find any blues for gold that's less than 7 million, I'll buy them up instantly. So any of these that you might be able to find, 5.25 million for 10 gems is obviously 525k per gem minus taxes, which is 20% with gold. Actually is 10% with gold, so even less than I thought. When we get into tier 8s, here's another thing that we can keep in mind is that we can start going to normal items instead of those flawless, epic type thing, because now is when you start getting into those Lux items, which are worth a lot more than normal items would be, and these are going to be selling for upwards of, close to double what their base value is, because people that are able to surcharge these are making good money on these, right? So 3 gems, I mean, that's only 300K, but if somebody put that up for 2 gems right now, that may be a really good option as well. Most of these items are going to be sitting at 2 gems, so that's an easy 250K per gem, but obviously not nearly as good as what we were looking at earlier. Let's see what else I can find. Okay, so I'm looking at a few of these superior items, and look at that, 2.5 mil for 5 gems. So if that does sell for that value, you're getting over 500K per gem. Some of these are not nearly as good. This is only 300K, but if you can find some of these that are really high value, like items that somebody's really going to need, and you can find this for very few gems, that may be a really good option. Obviously, some of these with a really high gem value is not going to be worth it whatsoever. You're going to be looking for something like this that's 400K per gem right there, something along those lines. All right, so we move on to tier 9 now, and here's where things start to get really interesting. Here's where tier 9 enchants come into play, and so this could be the ticket for you. So let's check some of these out. All of these will sell for 7 million eventually. As you can see, most of them don't even have a 7 million for sale value. That's because lots of people will just use these because they're never going to go above 7 million as 10 times, and so they'll just buy all the gold price ones and transfer those into sigils. It's super easy and just a clean way to make sure that you never pay more than 7 million per. So something like this you can buy for 10 gems, list for 7 million. It's going to sell for, at 6.3 with minus 10%. So 630K per gem no matter what. That's going to be consistent if you can buy these for 10 gems, 630K per gem. So as you can see, it's incrementally going up. We started at around 100K with tier 6, 200K, 400K, and now we're sitting at about 630K guaranteed. Obviously, all of these aren't listed at 10 gems, but here's another one that is 10 gems, so that you could do that very consistently and just wait for the gem prices to be reasonable and what you are comfortable with using. Here may be another option, still sitting in the enchant section here, but 4 gems at 3 million. So it's going to sell for 2.7 million, but that is looking like a pretty juicy ratio, you know, well over 500K per gem, closer to like 650 or 700. So that's pretty good. I wouldn't go for normal enchants because rarely will you see these at 2 gems. Like there's a couple of them at 2 gems, but for the most part they're 3. But even at 2 gems, if you buy this and sell it right away, you're going to get 680 out of that. So it's not, I mean, it's what, 340K per gem. So it's not even good. I wouldn't go for normal enchants at all. Even if you look at normal items here, a lot of these 3 gems, 4 gems, 1.4 million, these are, you know, far below 500,000 per gem. And once you're into tier 9s, there's no point in you transferring gems to gold at less than 500K because you can easily get a lot better than that. I'm going to see what else I can find, but I just want to show you this. Like even at 2 gems, highest gold offer for 2 gems, and you're looking at 450K, of course, minus taxes. So you're only looking at about 400K per gem. So I definitely would not consider ever transferring gems into gold at less than 500,000 unless you're sitting at like tier 6, tier 7, you're a lower level, like level 40 or under, and you just want to get some quick gold with some extra gems that you've got. Then maybe, like, let's say you're crafting a bunch of tier 6s, you get a few flawless, you sell those for 10 gems a piece or whatever, and then you want to transfer those into gold and try to get like a really good ratio at a low level, then sure. But otherwise I would never transfer it less than 500,000, and I'd be looking at more like 6, 7, 800K. And when we get up to tier 11, I'll show you that we can get even better than that. So here's another example. I had to definitely look for this one, but we're looking at superior tier 9 item here. Buy for 2 gems, sell for 1.4 million. So obviously you're looking at 700K after tax per gem, maybe a little bit less than that, but that's a pretty good item. It's rare to find. Like a lot of these are 3 gems, 4 gems, and some of them are even higher than that, but definitely worthwhile looking through and seeing if you can find something with really low gems and like buy that for 2 gems, throw it up. You know, there was only one of them as you can see, but throw it up for 1.4 million. There's 700K per gem. Easy. A lot of these flawless tier 9 items are going to be fairly similar as well. Like you can see 7.9 million for 10 gems. But the issue with this that I find is that you can't guarantee that this is going to sell for 7.9 million. I mean, this could drop a lot lower than that, and there's no way for you to guarantee that you can sell it. If you list for 7 million, it will probably sell eventually because that's kind of the price that people are looking at buying tier 8 and above, flawless and above. to make their sigils with. But I wouldn't really buy any of these for like 13, 14, 15 gems like these and hoping to even get a couple mil more, because it's going to be inconsistent. Where if you can guarantee, you just buy with 10 gems, 9 gems even, and sell for 7 million, that's going to give you a lot better of a ratio and more consistently, rather than waiting for that item to sell eventually for 9 mil instead of 7. You can get a consistent 7 mil every time, like with the enchants. I think I like that a lot better. That being said, though, let's look at this tier 9. It's listed at 6.7. You can get it for 9 gems instead of 10 with the enchants, and this would likely sell for 7 million gold. So, I mean, there's probably ways that you can get it a little bit better. Buy for 9 gems, sell for 6.3 million after taxes, and then you're getting like up there to the 700, 800k range. But that's probably going to be a little bit more rare, but there's definitely the chance of that happening if you're finding these for 9 gems and selling for 7 million instead of the 10 gems that you can see here. I think that's definitely potential, but I would not go up into like the 12, 13 gem range with tier 9s. I don't think I would. One thing I want to mention here quick before we go much farther is that chests nowadays are not good in terms of transferring, other than just, maybe these at a really low level, but generally speaking, they're not going to be great. I mean, maybe the golden chest 2.5 mil for 9 gems is okay, but if you even look at this, like that's 200k per gem at tier 9, you're getting, a third of the gold that you should be getting out of this if you're transferring efficiently, right? So, I mean, long time ago, chests were incredible and you could transfer really efficiently and really quickly and reliably, and they were like the best option ever, but that was before fusion came in. Now we can fuse keys into chests. Now there's an abundance of chests, all the prices are really low and you can't do it efficiently. So I wouldn't touch chests unless you're really low level and you go for limestone, or you want to do 2.5 mil for 9 gems. That's the only two things that I would consider. All right, so let's move into tier 10s. Now, in tier 10s, things also get a little bit interesting simply because this is where opulent items are introduced. Tier 10 is where they first started introducing these types of items from Lost City of Gold into the game. Before that, they didn't exist. And so now we start getting really high value items. So the gold per item is a lot higher for normals than you're going to be getting anywhere else. It's just whether or not the actual gem to gold ratio makes any sense. So let's say this, for example, you buy for 5 gems, 3 million gold. You're going to be getting 2.7 million afterwards. So, you're sitting at about 600k per gem, a little bit less than that actually. So it's actually not fantastic, but it's definitely something to consider. If this, let's say, was at 4 gems and I was able to get that much, now we're talking, now that's something serious. But for now, that's not great. When we're talking about these ratios, I think just these minuscule details actually become really important, because the difference between 3 gems and 2 gems is such a big difference, right? Like it's a 50% difference, and it's like, oh, it's 1 gem, whatever. But when you think about the grand scheme of things, if you divide by 3 or you divide by 2, that's a massive difference, right? So if you go 1.2 million, essentially what this is, divided by 2, you're sitting at 600k. If you go 1.2 million, which is essentially what this is, divided by 3, you're sitting at 400k, right? So it decreases your profit by 50% by something that seems so small. Maybe not 50%, but you know what I'm saying. 1 gem difference is actually huge. So what I do here is organize by gold price and then go through and look and try to find the first one that says 2 gems and look at that, because that's going to be your best option. Otherwise, you look and go through and find the one 3 gems and look, what's that ratio? 3 gems to 1.4 million, right? So none of these I would say are fantastic options, but definitely something to look at. Wow. Check this out. 4 gems, 8.6 million. That's the craziest one I've ever seen. Let's buy this for 4 gems and see. Wow. Are you kidding me? Let's see how many there are. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so apparently there's a bunch of these. But if you could transfer 4 gems into 8.5 million, that's 2 million per gem. Okay, what is happening here? That doesn't make any sense. Unless somebody just bought up Nightwings. I don't know what's happening. This is a crazy price. This doesn't make any sense. Let's see if these are going to sell. Let's go into tier 10. So we're doing the same thing. We're going by gold price here, but check this out. 5 gems for 5 mil. Boom. Minus taxes, you're looking at 900K per gem. Okay, are we happy with that? You got 10% of the gold disappearing for taxes, and that's 900K per gem. We're closing in on 1,000,000 gold per gem. Now, I'm not guaranteeing that these are going to sell right away for 4.9 million gold, and they might not sell, and they might go down to 400 or 4 million, and you might get a little bit less. But even still, this is closing in on 1,000,000 gold per gem, which is kind of crazy. You can't always explain what's going to happen, right? Like, these two, this is worth less gold and it's double the gems. This is 8 gems, this is 4 gems, right? Like, how do you explain that? You can't really. It's just what the lowest offer is in each right now, and you just use that to your advantage and just try to do the best that you can. So let's go through. The first 3 gem offer is 1.9 million. So you're looking at what, 600 something K per gem. And here's our first 2 gem offer, and it's 1.1 million. So again, after taxes, you're looking just over 500K per gem. So not fantastic. Here's another one, 14 gems, 13.5 million. So you're looking at almost 1,000,000 per gem after tax, 900K, 850K if this sells. No guarantee that it will, but once you get into these tier 10s, I'm telling you that if you can find the right ones, you find some with really low gem offers compared to everything else around it in terms of gold, you're still looking right around that 1 million mark. I mean, around that 900K mark is fairly common to find. So definitely that's what I would be aiming for, is waiting until you hit the level 50, level 55, and looking to guarantee yourself 500,000 gold per gem, if not a whole lot more, because we can get close to 1 mil. As I said before, the lowest gold offer generally that you're going to get for anything tier 8 and above and flawless and above is about 7 million. These are sitting at 6.8, and as you can see, 8 gems. So in every tier that goes above tier 8, you can just look for the gold price to be around 7 million, because that's what we're sitting at right now. And the gem price, if you can find 8 gems, is fantastic. 10 gems is consistent. 9 gems is really good. Anything below that is ridiculous, and you're going to be able to steal this for like 800K per gem. Like, it's pretty crazy. You can definitely get into some higher value items as well, where this seems like a lot, but 27 gems into 22 million, you're going to be getting over 20 million for 27 gems. So again, you're sitting at what, 700-800K? I don't know, I didn't do the math, but that's a really good ratio, and you're doing a lot at the same time. Again, the only issue is that you can't guarantee that this random item is going to sell for 22 million gold, and people may just, you know, fight prices and it drops and nobody's buying them, and then you end up selling it for 17 million, right? So there's just a tougher way to guarantee how much gold you're actually going to be getting out of something when you start getting into the higher numbers. All right, so let's get into tier 11 items now. So this is the highest tier, obviously, that's available in the game as of right now, and you need to be level 60 to unlock tier 11, or to buy tier 11. I guess the other thing that I didn't mention at the beginning, and this is probably way too late into the video for newer players, but anyway, if you don't have gems unlocked in the market yet, the reason is that you don't have the achievement that you need to spend 600 gems first in your shop before that will be available. So anyway, just a note, if you don't have this available and you're like, what's going on, that would be why. But let's check this out. Wow. Newer item, 4 gems, 4 mil. Over 900K per gem. Okay, a lot of these big opulent items are going to be moving a lot, because people who are rushing net worth are going for net worth leaderboards, or just want to be selling this, and with their 5% extra for guns and 1% extra for everything else, and they're, you know, getting such a huge value out of these, they don't mind spending 12 gems because they're getting 8 mil per sale on it or something like that, right? And so for you to be able to, you know, buy these for 10 gems, if you get a really good price, and sell them for 8 million, it's going to be something that moves really, really quickly, because so many of these are gone through in a day, and so many bigger players buy them and don't care as much about price. So definitely something to consider, although the ratio right now isn't fantastic, because after taxes you're sitting at about 650K per gem on this guy. So not great, but if you go to some of these instead, this is 3.8 mil, 4 gems, that's sitting around 850K per gem, so that's a lot better. All right, so this is the first time that I'm seeing this, but but a lot of these are being listed for over a million gold per gem. 17 gems, 19 million gold, which means that's like 1.1 million, a little less than that, 1.1 million after tax per gem. That is crazy. I haven't actually seen them listed like that, but that's not the only one. 14 gems, 15.9 million. Like, here's the first point in time. Wow, that's 2 million per gem. That's the second one I've seen. That's 2 million per gem. I don't think that would actually ever sell for 13.9 million. I doubt it because this isn't a pack item, so it doesn't make sense for it to, but it's there. So I wouldn't go for that personally, but I mean, you can see that there's some crazy offers here that is going to be less gems than it is millions of gold. That's pretty crazy. Here's another one. This is basically a million gold per gem, 4 gems, 4 million gold. And the interesting thing is that this is listed for exactly double of surcharge value. So anyone who's doing this, but also has their plus 1% ascensions. So let me show you what I'm talking about. You go to ascensions. People who have these done plus 1% are going to be making more than that as well, right? Plus 1%, plus 1%. Plus 1%. So I have 4% right now, but a lot of people will have way more of these done, and they'll have, you know, multiple lines, 15% or whatever it is. And then also, let's say you have it's a glove and you get 5% extra as well. So let's say someone's getting 20% extra, they're going to be willing to pay 4 million gems for that consistently. So I think that's actually a lot more reliable than some of the other things that we've been talking about. All right, so here's some bigger items which are a little interesting. So this is a pack item. People likely will be willing to pay a lot for this. It is flawless as well. And a lot of people late game don't mind spending the gold because they just rather spend their gold than spend their gems, right? Like, gems are so important. And even if the ratio seems a little iffy, a lot of people, including me, are way more likely to spend the gold than they are gems. So even if you see this buying for 33 gems, likely this is probably going to sell for close to max value because it is a flawless. It is, I don't know if it's a best in slot, but it is a pack item. It does have additional stats, and it's a really solid item. So some of these that you're looking at that are, you know, close to the gem to million mark might be really good options. Something like this as well, you know, 22 million, 22 gems. I mean, it's interesting because this isn't a pack item, so you don't know if it's actually going to sell anywhere close to 22 million, but it's definitely something to consider for sure. Something like this as well, 13 gems, so that's what, 1.5 million per gem. Like, some of these are actually really crazy. So here's something to keep in mind. I know this looks ridiculous. You're saying 126 million, like, who would ever pay that? But a lot of people will buy these like super high tier, like opulent items with, you know, crazy rarities because the king is going to pay you 10 times the value of this item if you're using that item from King's Caprice, right? So 10 times value, the king is literally going to pay you 126 million for this, right? And so if you throw a couple of enchants on here, this king sale is going to be absolutely crazy, like 130 million or more. And so this isn't actually out of the question at all. This isn't ridiculous. So 198 gems seems a little bit ridiculous. Some of these might be a little better. 134 for 108. But look at that, 134 gems and you get 100 million out of it. It's not a million per gem, but it's a good ratio and you're doing a ton at a time. So, I mean, if it's something that you're really wanting to do and put a ton of gems through, might be something to consider. Probably not the greatest ratio ever, but a lot at a time, and it does look pretty cool. Well, I think that's going to be it for this one. I know this was a longer video, but hopefully it shows you guys what you need to do, and some of the better items for each tier as you go. As you can see, the higher the tier, the better the ratio gets. You know, 2, 4, 6, 800k per gem, depending on what you can get. These Nightwings still haven't sold. It's been 15 minutes, but that's okay. If they do sell for a crazy amount and I get 2 million per gem or something like that, I'll leave it in the comments for you guys and let you know what I found. Guys, I just finished recording the episode, and check this out. 30 million gold. So these just sold. I didn't touch anything. I literally just imported the video into my editing software and started editing, and within like 5 seconds these sold. So I bought 5 of these, right, at 4 gems a piece. So I spent 20 gems and there's 30 million gold, and there's still one more to go. So that means that I just got like 40 million gold for 20 gems. Guys, that's crazy. That's 2 million gold per gem. That's so nuts. See that? 42 minutes. So it took 18 minutes for these to sell. 8.6 million for 4 gems. That is so crazy to me. Wow. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, especially if you made it this far in the video. That is crazy. I hope you guys are having a good week. And I will see you guys first week of August as I'm back, and should be back streaming on Fridays and hopefully another day a week. But hey, I'm having a good time with my family. It's been wonderful, and I appreciate all of you. Just hit 4,400 subs today. Getting close to that 5K, and excited for all that is to come for us. So anyway, thank you all so much. Hope you're doing well. Much love, and I'll talk to you all soon. Peace out.